Welcome to Steps Forward with Ricky, a weekly walking podcast designed to help you take steps forward in your life and your day. Monday morning, fresh day, fresh week, new start. Whatever day you're listening to this, let's be serious, because you should listen to these episodes whenever you feel like it, whenever you feel like you need it. Not in any order, just the order that you feel best. If you're new here, welcome to the community. And more importantly, this is a walking podcast. What's a walking podcast, Ricky? Great question. A walking podcast is a podcast that you walk with. I know, it's complicated, but seriously, the episodes are short. They're 20, 25 minutes. That's the whole idea behind the podcast, is that you're putting one foot in front of the other. You're taking time during your day to move your body, to move your energy, to move your mood. So if you're listening to this right now and you can't walk, that's okay. That's kind of okay. But I would love for you just to make sure that in the future, plan your routine around it. Like, okay, I know Monday mornings the episodes come out, or Tuesdays during work, I can take a walk. I'm going to listen to Ricky's podcast during that time. Be intentional with when you listen to this podcast, because it's going to help you. When you listen to it and you move your body, you're going to feel good for getting your steps in. So that's it. I'm recording outside in California. And I have a lot of things I want to talk about today. First things first, if you're a new listener, maybe you've listened to every episode, but you came into the process, later. I've been thinking about something lately. Okay, hold on. The reason I started this podcast, the most important thing for me was just so everyone understands the reasoning behind it all was, for me, I really needed a space to be self-expressive. I needed a space to just be whatever I wanted, to say whatever I wanted, and that in hopes of sharing my truth, I would be sharing a little bit of your truth as well. I wanted to get people moving more, taking steps forward in their life, but really the way the podcast started for me was a place of self-expression. I didn't want to feel tied down to topics, or if I couldn't share this or I couldn't share that. And the reason I'm saying this right now is I think so many people in our lives tell us to talk about this or to do this or to do that or to be this or to be that. And I wanted to create a space where I could just be. And today we hit over 10,000 downloads. Actually, by the time you listen to this, it'll probably be doubled that, but this is because this is recorded a week in advance. And I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful that people are taking the time to listen to something like this, that they resonate with it, that they relate to it, that they feel connected to me, that they're moving their body, that they're doing all of these things. It's incredible. And it goes back to damn, for the first time in my life, I'm finding success just by being myself. And people used to say that all the time, just be yourself and the money will come, the success will come. And I'm like, what? I don't even fucking know what that means, because we're so lost sometimes. We're like, who am I? Who are we? And people like to restrict us. Don't say too much. Don't do too much. And the more I am myself, the more I share my truth, the more relatable I am, the more you connect to me. So just a reminder that don't ever forget why you start something. Always come back to your why. And the more you that you are, the more people are going to like it. So thank you for being a part of this community and this journey that I'm on, that you're on, that we're all on. And I hope it inspires you to chase after some of your ideas, because they are worth chasing. And with that said, there was a follow-up for this. I also wanted to say that my TikTok is growing so much, and the walking away from weed, and everything is happening, and it's so incredible. I love the community. I love helping people take steps forward. I love helping people walk away from weed. I love talking about it. I'm creating content all the time for it. But I did think about it today, and I did have this thought of my podcast has to be whatever I want it to be. It can't be what everyone else wants it to be. I want people to find value in it. But, today I don't really want to talk about marijuana. That doesn't mean that I won't again. Doesn't mean that you can't find a million other things on here that are valuable and helpful. But, I don't want to feel pressured. Because the reason I started this podcast was literally for the opposite reason. So I just wanted to also say that, don't forget your why. Don't forget who you are. And remember that people are going to always want certain things of you. But you have to stay true to who you are. And so today I was like, I don't really feel like talking about marijuana. But I do believe that things that I talk about can be applied to anything in your life. And it's not that we're not going to talk about weed or walking away from weed or bad habits or self-destructive patterns in my podcast. Of course we are. But today I just wanted to talk, honestly. My 34th birthday, it's over. I'm 34. Holy shit. I'm not like upset about it. I'm excited for it. I would never go back to any other years. Literally, if you're like, Ricky, you want to go back? I'd be like, no, please don't take me back, because it was rough. It's rough when you're living your life a certain way for so long, and you've got all this trauma and you got all these things in your life. You don't really feel like you're living, even though you are. And now I know what it feels like to actually be living, to live your truth, to feel good, because I'm not smoking and I'm not in my relationship anymore, which my relationship was really good, but I've learned to love who I am now. And it's crazy. 34 is a great, feels like a good number, but I got to tell you, as happy as I am, because I really am happy, and I'm making all these moves and I've made so many different changes in my life, maybe you can relate. There's definitely a sense of like, damn, am I going to meet the love of my life? Am I going to have babies? Is time running out? And that's a real thing. And then I try to switch my mindset and say, like, of course you are. You're going to have all the things that you want because you're making the right decisions, because you are walking away from the things in your life that don't serve you, because life is a journey and we're all on a journey. And so maybe you're listening to this right now and you feel far behind, or you feel off track, or you feel pressured, or you feel like shit, time is running out. Time is not running out. Not if you do something with it. You can't change your life all at once, and you can't expect the journey to unfold all at once. It unfolds in time and with time. And for me, it was like one step at a time. Get rid of the marijuana, end this relationship, both of you together mutually. The love that you have, but it's not going to work long term. Go on this road trip, get out of Detroit, go to therapy. I didn't do all of that once. It's like I woke up one day and was like, all right, here's what I got to do. Walk away from me, walk away from relationship, walk away from Michigan, walk away from everything. That's just not how it works. And so I think we have this glorified vision or glamorized version of what change looks like. And it doesn't work like that. I mean, listen, I've changed so much about my life since September, and it's only February. So yes, if you work at it, it works. But you don't have to rush the process. And you don't have to do things out of desperation. So, right, I want to meet somebody and I want to get married. I want to do all of those things. I also want a really successful career. I want to feel good. I want all of those things. And in some ways I have them. But I'm not going to do things out of desperation, or I'm not going to allow myself to get caught up in what I think I should be doing or where I think I should be. I'm just going to be where I'm at. Yeah, I'm going to be where I'm at. And right now, I'm in California. And I'm 100 and some days, 150 days clean from marijuana. I'm 34 years old. I feel good about who I am. I'm podcasting. I'm creating content. I've built this incredible, incredible community. You guys are so incredible. And I'll tell you right now, if you would have told me these are the things that I would be doing right now with my life, that I would be in this position of leadership and that I would feel this good, I would have been like, there's no freaking way. Because when we're in it, we can't see anything outside of it. I don't know. 33 was a really rough year. Honestly, every year was pretty rough. When you're in pain, it's rough. Even if you have good moments, it can still be rough. This feels different. This just feels different. Also it's kind of crazy, and I don't know what's going to happen because you're not going to listen to this episode until 2 weeks after I say this, but I think I'm moving to California. What? Isn't that wild? You're like, I don't know. Is it? Yeah, it is. It's wild. I'm from Detroit. I lived in Colorado for a few years. It's wild. I was on the road for a few months, and now I'm here. And I'm waiting on this apartment that I'm praying that I'll get, and it's right by the ocean, literally a 2-minute walk from the ocean, and I just can't even believe it. And I'm sharing this because it's proof, it's hope, it's inspiration for you that you can change your life, and you can stay true to who you are, and you can find success by being who you are. You can walk away from weed, you can walk away from that relationship, you can walk away from that pattern, from that person, that place, that thing. Even if nothing unfolds all at once, it will eventually unfold. I'm not any different than you. I mean, we might be a little different, but I'm a person that struggled for a really long time, and sometimes I wake up and I still struggle, but the struggle is different now. Because I also have joy. And I'm not smoking for the struggle anymore. At my 33rd birthday, I remember waking up and being like, is this how I'm going to feel on my 34th birthday? Because I feel shitty. And I didn't make changes right away. I really didn't. I didn't wake up on my 33rd birthday, even though I thought that was like, damn, I don't really like my life right now. I didn't change anything of it. I thought about it for a while. And then in September, I don't know how many months after that is of February, but that was 5 months ago from this birth that I just celebrated. And that's when I started making changes. So sometimes we think about in our head and we're like, we want to change this. We know we should change this. We know we should do this. We know we should do that. And even though we want to intellectually, we're not ready yet. Or we just can't yet. And that's okay. But I knew eventually, like as time got closer to my 34th birthday, I did feel anxious. And I felt like not like time was running out, but I felt like I was screwing up my life. Like I'm going to turn 34 and I'm going to be in Michigan and I'm going to be high and I don't know what's going on with my current relationship and I'm going to feel sad, and I didn't want that for myself. So I made big girl decisions. Because that's what you have to do. You got to make big kid decisions. You got to come in, you got to parent yourself, you got to say, all right, what kind of life do you want? Who do you want to be? How do you want to be remembered? If no one else had any input in your life, how would you live it? And that was what I did. And I remember thinking, like, this is going to hurt like hell. It's going to hurt like hell to heal, but it's not going to hurt as much as it's going to be if you stay where you're at. I don't know what's to come, to be honest with you. Like, I have so many visions for walking away from weed and for my TikTok. And, I think about like brand partnerships. I think about this podcast. I think about writing a book. I think about all these things, creating content. I think about living in California. I think about all these things in my life. And I don't know what's going to happen. So I take it one day, 1 week at a time. Same idea with the marijuana stuff. Like, I'm not over it, but like, I honestly do feel like I don't crave it. I don't think about it. I'll never smoke again. But you do have to take things one day or 1 hour at a time. And I think that for me, if I get too caught up in like what's going to happen in 3 months from now, I get anxious, or a year from now. So I try to have like a long-term vision, but like a short-term plan for that vision, right? Like this many downloads, this many videos. Thought I knew that girl. So if you're watching this, you're like looking at me, looking at this girl. So creepy. And there's a dog right here. So just don't put so much pressure on yourself to transform everything in your life, or if you feel pressure just in general. But also don't just sit there, Make one small change. Change one small thought, one behavior. Work on one project. And be consistent. So, yeah, this episode was just like a bunch of rants, like Ricky rants. And I feel good about it because this is what the podcast is for me. So hopefully you got little nuggets of wisdom. And then next week we'll talk about marijuana. I don't know. It's going to be like a week-to-week thing. And the podcast is always going to serve you because you can relate to the things that I say. And you can apply them to different parts of your life. But the most important thing for me to be able to pump out content and to like show up and to be consistent is that I enjoy it. And that's something that I think I didn't really understand for a long time, is that I have to enjoy it. I have to enjoy creating things. You have to enjoy what you put out there. You have to enjoy the process. And so if I'm creating content just because people are requesting certain things, I don't even want to talk about that right now or whatever it is, like I can't. I gotta stay true to who I am. And so do you. So I hope you had a good walk. This was like a 15-minute walk. You got some steps in. And wherever you're at in your life or in your journey, whether you're walking away from weed or walking away from anything in your life, it's okay to walk slow. just keep moving. And remember that the process it's a process, and you have to enjoy it, and you have to trust it. I will see you next week. Drink some water. I'm out.